All right, let's just get right into it, shall we? If you're inching closer to 40, or hey, maybe it's just a dot on the horizon for you right now, you've probably felt it. That quiet, creeping anxiety that hits late at night, whispering, wait, am I financially behind? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Honestly, it's completely normal to feel that way. But today, we're going to look at the math and, more importantly, the mindset of turning 40 through a totally different lens. Welcome to this explainer on the milestones for financial resilience. First off, we are definitely not playing the net worth Olympics today. We're not going to sit here and compare you to that one cousin who somehow magically owns 3 rental properties and never actually seems to work. No way. Instead, we're diving into the actual behaviors, the ratios, and the underlying systems that really dictate whether you're on track for ultimate financial freedom. We are talking about building a truly unshakable financial life. To do that, we kind of need to completely redefine what wealth actually means. Because a massive net worth, it's not always a safe net worth. You could easily have a fragile $1 million net worth where literally one job loss, a random health scare, or just one bad housing decision makes the whole tower come crashing down. Now compare that to a rock-solid $350,000 net worth. This person has a super strong savings rate, a fully funded emergency fund, and locked-in housing costs. And you know what? They sleep perfectly at night. That kind of true durability, that resilience, that is the actual goal. So to get you to that state of unshakable resilience, we're going to walk through 4 key phases. We'll start with the wealth building engine, then move into fortifying your financial fortress. After that, we'll tackle defeating lifestyle creep, and finally, automating ultimate freedom. Let's kick things off with phase 1, the wealth building engine. This is all about creating assets that actually outgrow your income. Look, to build that engine, if you literally only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this number, 15 to 25%. Your savings rate is without a doubt the absolute most powerful financial lever you have control over in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Honestly, it's so much more important than trying to pick the perfect ETF or stressing out over your early investment returns. And why is that? Well, because someone who consistently saves 20% of just a moderate income, riding out all the market crashes and rallies, will mathematically beat out someone earning twice as much who saves absolutely nothing. Early on, your contribution rate is the engine, so just control what you can control. Now, when we actually talk about how much you should have saved up by the big 4-0, we always run into that famous Fidelity benchmark. You know the one? It says you need 4 times your income invested. And hey, I love Fidelity, but let's be real. If we treat that as a strict, hard and fast rule, half of us would probably just close this tab right now and go cry into a pillow. So let's swap that out for a much more attainable benchmark, aiming to have 1 to 2 times your income invested by 40. The math behind this is actually incredibly reassuring. Think about it. Let's say you make $80,000 a year, and you've got $160,000 invested. That's exactly 2x. If you just keep saving 15% going forward, and let's pretend you never get another promotion or raise ever again. Assuming a pretty conservative 7% return, you'd still retire with $1.6 million. Just stay the course. You absolutely do not have to be a millionaire at 40 to retire a multimillionaire. Okay, but what exactly are we investing in here? The absolutely crucial point is understanding the difference between just having a high income and having actual wealth. Because you can totally earn 6 figures and still find yourself living paycheck to paycheck if every single dime walks right out the door by December 31st. The IRS really doesn't care about your salary. Wealth is the stuff that actually sticks around. So real wealth means you're accumulating specific retirement assets, things like a 401k or an IRA, a health savings account, a pension, business equity, or a taxable brokerage account. Think of it this way. Your income is what you enjoy right now, but your assets, that's what you're going to enjoy later. And this beautifully shifts our whole perspective on the idea of multiple income streams. I mean, the internet absolutely loves to tell us we need like 6 side hustles, an Etsy sticker shop, and we should be driving for Uber all weekend. Let's take that, frankly exhausting myth and reframe it into what we'll call streams of stability. Simply building up your 401k, that is a stream. The equity in your home, also a stream. Consistently paying into Social Security is a stream, and if you're partnered up, having a 2-income household is a massive stream of stability. You're probably already building multiple streams in much more subtle, foundational ways than you even realize. All right, let's pivot to defense with phase 2, fortifying your financial fortress. We're talking about becoming genuinely hard to financially destroy. The absolute hallmark milestone here is simply the ability to survive a job loss without going into an absolute panic. You could have 2 people pulling in the exact same income, but one of them is white-knuckling their commute every day because they are entirely exposed to disaster, while the other is just completely fine.
The difference? It's having that financial fortress. We're talking a solid 6 to 12-month emergency fund, super manageable fixed expenses, and keeping debt low or at least highly controlled. But here's the thing, that emergency fund isn't just sitting there waiting for you to get fired. That money is literally the key to your own front door. It gives you the ultimate empowering freedom to walk away from a toxic boss, a bad relationship, or a city that's just draining the life out of you. It's freedom money, plain and simple.
And a huge part of maintaining that fortress is protecting the wealth you've built from sudden catastrophe. A major medical event or an unexpected tragedy can literally wipe out decades of your hard work. People who build wealth don't just get rich, they stay rich by avoiding total wipeouts. That means having proper health insurance, disability coverage, and estate plans. Which brings us to this frankly shocking statistic. Did you know that 62% of Gen X, so folks currently roughly 40 to 50 years old, have absolutely zero estate planning documents in place? No will, nothing, zero. Look, setting up an estate plan might cost you a little bit of time and money right now, but if anyone out there depends on your income, it is the ultimate way to show them you love them by making sure they're taken care of. Which leads us nicely into phase 3, defeating the lifestyle creep, or how to keep your expenses grounded. The absolute golden rule for this phase is keeping your housing costs at or below 25 to 30% of your gross income. Seriously, the vast majority of financial stress people face is not caused by their investment portfolio having a bad quarter. It is caused by those heavy, fixed, immovable monthly obligations. If you get your housing decision right, the rest of your financial life is honestly a breeze. But if you get it wrong, you're basically signing up to spend the next 30 years fighting a pretty brutal uphill battle. There's an old saying I love that really hits the nail on the head. Don't optimize the DoorDash orders and then go out and buy a home that is 45% of your income. It is just so ridiculously easy to agonize over cutting out a weekly $5 latte, right? But if you absolutely nail your housing costs, make a smart vehicle purchase, and automate your savings, those 3 big decisions alone will completely outweigh hundreds of tiny, stressful daily optimizations. Don't sweat the small stuff while completely missing the mark on the massive structural decisions. And we have to watch out because lifestyle creep is incredibly sneaky. It doesn't just happen all at once. It's a slightly nicer car here, deciding to dine out 4 nights a week instead of 2 there, and suddenly you're pulling in $200,000 a year, but you're somehow still living paycheck to paycheck. The best way to defeat this by the time you hit 40 is actually pretty simple. Every single time you get a raise, your future self needs a raise too. By all means, treat yourself, absolutely, but make sure you treat your portfolio as a top priority as well. Just bump up that savings rate so that your spending always remains intentional rather than just passively inflated. Finally, we arrive at phase 4, automating your ultimate freedom. This is where we rely on rock-solid systems rather than fleeting motivation. Because by the time you're 40, your wealth building shouldn't depend on how motivated you happen to feel on any given Tuesday. Motivation is honestly a terrible employee. It's the one that inevitably catches the flu in February and calls out sick. We need to rely on systems. Just look at the pure magic of automation for a second. Let's say you have a $400,000 mortgage at a 6.5% interest rate. Your standard payment is $2,500 a month, and over a 30-year term, you're going to pay $515,000 in interest alone. It's a lot. But let's say you automate just one tiny extra payment of $200 a month. You set it up once, and you completely forget it exists. Automatically your payoff time drops by over 5.5 years, and your total interest plummets to just over $400,000. You guys, that is $115,000 saved, purely from automating $200. It's unbelievable. That is the absolute power of a system that does not care what kind of mood you are in. So do yourself a favor and put your life on autopilot. Step 1. Set your retirement contributions and investing to run completely in the background. Step 2, automate every single one of your bill payments. And step 3, automate your savings for the fun stuff too, the vacations, the home upgrades, all of it. Direct your money exactly where it needs to go automatically, so you can actually go out and, live your life instead of obsessing over spreadsheets on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. And all of this leads us right to the ultimate payoff of this entire explainer. Milestone 10. Buying back your time. By the time you hit 40, one of the biggest, most undeniable signs that you are truly winning financially is that your focus naturally transitions away from simply accumulating more money and shifts toward actively using that money to buy back your freedom. Because at the end of the day, a giant pot of money just sitting in an account doesn't magically make your life better on its own. It's entirely about what you do with it. Buying back time is being able to say no to a draining project that would have totally eaten your weekend. It's paying someone else to cut the lawn so you get an extra hour to play with your kids. It's the ability to go freelance if you want to. True wealth isn't a shiny new boat, a massive house, or an expensive watch to flex on your neighbors. It is the absolute freedom of a quiet Wednesday evening on the couch, totally free from inbox anxiety. That is what real financial resilience looks like. It's becoming the kind of person whose financial life just hums along smoothly, completely unbothered through job changes, market crashes, and all of life's unpredictable curveballs. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. If you successfully built your fortress and bought back your time today, what exactly would you do with your Tuesday morning? Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next explainer.